brain? A teacher, like Miss Joseph. Very good. I see. Or you could be, who remembers? Say, I can be a social worker. Yes, a social worker.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Brown and I am the owner and founder of Today I Want to Be. We are solving the problem of kids and youth not seeing someone who looks just like them in a variety of career fields. We are a career exploration resource for parents and educators, and through our interactive products and virtual interviews, kids and youth are able to see representation of their race and gender in career fields that they may not even know about. With every product we create, from our educational aids to our apparel and accessories, we are intentional about encouraging and helping kids and youth see that they can become anything they want to be. We are the only company who not only focuses on career exploration for kids and youth, but we also give them an opportunity to ask professionals about their careers every month during our free live virtual interviews as student co-hosts. If you are looking for a company that is dedicated to helping your child or student see that they can become anything they want to be, make sure you visit todayiwanttobe.com today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Today I Want to Be Career Exploration Interview. I am your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm really excited about our featured professional today. We are exploring the career field of a former marketing director. And of course, I have my beautiful co-host with me as well. We have Elizabeth as well as Catherine, and we have our featured professional, a former marketing director, Brittany Hutchinson. So now, guys, make sure you go ahead and share this video now. If this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure you also make sure you check out that comment field because it has so much information in it and that description box as well. So now this is a great show because it's actually interactive. So your friends and your family members that you shared the video with, they can actually post their questions in their comments as well, so they can ask Brittany questions. So now the purpose of Today I Want to Be is to help kids and youth explore different career fields, because the crazy part about this is, you know, when I was growing up, I really didn't know what I wanted to be. And so I want to help kids and youth eliminate going through that frustration during their adult years, trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up. So they can definitely tune into the show and they can actually talk to different professionals working in these career fields and see if it's something that they want to do as well. So now another great thing is if you're interested in purchasing any of our products, make sure you go to that description box, because right there next to the little cart, you will actually see a purchasing store purchasing link. You can click on that and you can see the different flashcards that we have for Black kids. And so they can actually see different professionals that look just like them, because it's all about giving them hope, you know, helping them to see that they can become anything that they want to be. So Elizabeth, Brittany, and Catherine, how are you guys doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
So excited to be talking to you. So excited to be talking to you, Brittany. So like I said, this is an interactive show. So if you have your students or your kids with you, make sure that you encourage them to ask Brittany questions about being a former marketing director. Now, the reason why I say former, because Brittany has decided to become a realtor. And so the exciting thing about that is never limit yourself to one thing. You know, if you're interested in moving in a different direction in your life, as when you become an adult, that's what happens, y'all. I'm telling you. You say, you know what? Let me go ahead and be a realtor. Let me go ahead and be a business owner. Let me go ahead and do X, Y, and Z, you know, and that is okay, because God has definitely blessed us with so many gifts and talents.
Yes.
And that we can work in different career fields as well. So like I said, make sure you encourage your kids and your students to post their questions and comments. Now, if you're tuning in from any other page other than Martinique Y. Brown or Today I Want to Be, make sure you're coming over to one of those Facebook pages, or if you're tuning in from YouTube, make sure you post your questions and your comments in that comment field. Give us a virtual shout out. Let us know that you are in the virtual world. We will not bite you as well. So we'll start with you, Brittany. Can you let the viewers know just a little bit more about yourself, and how long were you a marketing director?
So to tell you a little bit about myself, I discovered marketing back in 2010, 2011. At that time, I was getting ready to go off to college. But the reason, I'll give you a little bit behind the scenes as to how I discovered it. I had a kidney transplant. So what does that mean? So when I was 16, my parents and myself realized my kidneys were not working as they ought to. So I had to receive an organ transplant. And once I received this kidney transplant, an organization who helps to receive these different organs and transplant them decided they wanted to use my story, you know, being a younger patient, and share my story with people who visit the DMV and hopefully get people to sign up to become registered organ donors. So through their efforts, it really piqued my interest about how to, market their services and their initiatives. And that's how it got jump started. In terms of me being a marketing director, I really still am a marketing director because although I'm now in real estate, I'm a realtor, I have to do social media and email marketing for my business. So I'm a one-man show trying to come up with content, creative content. So although it's not a small boutique marketing agency, I'm definitely still directing marketing for the real estate side of things.
That's good. That's good. So shout out to Dr. Shika Houston, who is tuning in, as well as Mika Grafton, and Maurice is tuning in also from YouTube. Make sure you guys go ahead and share this video now so that more kids and youth, and also yourself, so you will know what a marketing director does, as well as so you can share this knowledge to any young person that you know that maybe have that skill set and that just really creative as well. But we are going to go to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you tell the viewers what grade you're in and what you want to be when you grow up?
I'm in the 4th grade, and I really don't know what I want to be when I grow up because there's so many.
You're in the right place. You are in the right place.
For sure.
Elizabeth, so excited to have you on the show. You've been on a couple of my other shows, and I'm telling you, you do such a great job, and you ask great questions as well.
But I do want to be a marine biologist. That's what I really want to do.
Well, you can do it. Come on, marine biologist.
You can do it, yeah.
That is excellent. Catherine, can you tell the viewers what grade you're in and what you want to be when you grow up?
So I'm in 11th grade, and I want to be a computer software developer.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That's excellent.
And I'm telling you, that is definitely a field that just continues to grow. So
it continues. That's why I want to do it, because it's growing and there's going to be lots of opportunities in the future.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
And
what grade are you?
Oh yeah, I'm in 11th grade.
11. Come on, 11. Brittany, do you remember when you was in 11th grade?
Oh, I wasn't thinking about career. So kudos to you. Kudos to you, Katie.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Such a great day. Such a great time.
And that's a really great age too, because you're in that halfway point to getting over to college, so you can start putting your feelers out there.
Yeah, definitely. So now explain to us, Brittany, what is marketing and what does a marketing director do? Because sometimes people get that confused with advertisement.
Yeah, I think, marketing and advertising work hand in hand. I know when I worked in marketing, it was a lot of social media marketing. So, for example, I worked with Advent Health. It was formerly Florida Hospital. So those of you who are in Florida, I'm sure you've seen the name. Publix Supermarkets, a household name. So I did a lot of social media work with them. And actually, in fact, when I interned with Advent Health, they were still focusing on a lot of billboard efforts. So I think a lot of that has changed to utilize like Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. So that's more my specialty there. And so in that role, it's just a matter of coming up with creative content. And honestly, I'm not always the most creative. I'm going to be so transparent with you guys, but I am so happy that I've had corporations hire creative agencies, because that's another facet to the marketing world. There are creative agencies out there that you can partner with. You share your vision, you share your goals, and those are the brains behind all of those fun contents or commercials that you see out there. And, really collaborating with them to ensure that what we're paying them to do is becoming a return on investment. So like in business, you'll hear the word a lot, ROI. ROI is a good term to keep in mind, because We use it a lot in business, and we use it a lot in the real estate world too. So yeah, I would say marketing has so many facets to it, but a lot of it that I focused on was the social media. And I wish that at the time when, social media became very popular, I utilized it for my own personal use, because I think I would see an increase like in my followers on Instagram, but I was just so focused on it for like the corporate world that the personal side of it was lacking. So I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah. So now what did a typical work day look like for you?
So a typical workday in marketing is meeting with leadership to understand some opportunities for improvement in the business. So I'll just give you an example. If we are trying to increase our awareness of the company in a certain region, tapping in with the creative team to develop content for that region. So it could be like social media. So a certain region, an audience will see our social media posts. If it's about billboards, making sure we're securing billboards in that certain region. So people, when they're driving, they can see our logo, they can see, our content. So they're getting that name recognition. That's a typical day in the life. And like I said, going back to measure return on investment was a lot of responsibility, because you don't want to know you're outputting money and you're not getting it back in terms of the business coming back in. And I would say another part of the marketing day-to-day is responding to inquiries. So, people would reach out to you via email, whether it's just the generic email inbox or your personal inbox. And just ask you questions. Can you tell me more about your company? And it depends what company you work for, right? So if you're working for a supermarket, they could be telling you about their experience at a certain store, and you just have to find the right contact person to discuss the feedback with, because you're really serving as the face of the organization. Marketing and I would say public relations work very hand in hand in that. So that's been my experience. And, I'm just happy that I can take a lot of that and apply it to selling houses and securing clients.
Yeah. And can you talk to our youth just about how, when you go into one career field and then you take what you've experienced into maybe another industry, like you said that you did with the marketing skills that you had and taking it into real estate?
Yeah, I think, it's just a matter of sitting down and thinking about what you've learned and how it's transferable to what you're transitioning to, right? So I think as adults, we tend to sometimes change industries. Just because you go to school, I have a friend who went to school for a lawyer. She's 2 years older than me. She's in her 30s, and she's no longer a lawyer. She's working as a financial counselor. So, just being real with yourself, thinking about what you've learned and applying it to your new business. So for her, that could be, client service, like providing an exceptional client service experience, and communication with her clients, her lawyer attorney clients may be transferable to working with financial clients in terms of providing white glove service, exceptional customer service. So just, take that time. Not everything is going to apply, and that's okay. Always be open to learning new things in the business.
That's good. And Elizabeth, you can go ahead with your first question.
My first question was, what inspired you to do marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Elizabeth. Or I should say Lizzie. It says Lizzie up there, but whichever you prefer. So going back to what I said, when I realized I needed a kidney transplant, this organization, and I can mention them, and you can Google it, LifeLink of Florida, reached out to me. Their public affairs team, their public affairs, public relations, marketing, they work hand in hand. So they reached out and they're like, wow, you have such a testimony. We would love to share this, especially with kids in high school getting ready to start driving, because ultimately they have to make that decision to put organ donor on their driver's license. And that's who helped save my life, an organ donor. So working with this team closely, pretty much every other weekend, doing volunteering with them, speaking in front of large audiences and seeing the behind the scenes work, putting calendars together with their logo on it. It really inspired me. So much so, I didn't realize it would be from a marketing aspect, but at the time it was transplant related. Like I wanted to become a transplant pharmacist.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it shows you how much things can change, you know? So yeah, at first it was transplant medicine, but then when I ultimately took those classes in college, I was like, nope, I'm sorry. I'm not cut out for these classes.
Yeah.
So we need to revisit this. And after speaking to my college guidance counselor, I think the term is for them, she opened my world up to communications and marketing. And it seemed like a pretty good fit for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that I want to just let our youth realize is like your guidance counselor in high school, and then your like your not academic but career development department in college. Those two departments you want to become friends with, you know, because you want them to know who you are, because there's so many career paths that you may be interested in going into. And so those are the resources and the people that you want to go to and help, so they can help you explore those different career paths.
Yes.
As well.
And to
I always thought it was the financial aid department that you want to be friends with.
Say that again.
I always thought it was the financial aid department you want to be your friends.
Them, and you want to get to know the people in career development, you know, in college. I mean, because those are really good two departments as well. And
those honestly were my, like you said, Martinique, you couldn't have said it any better. Those were my two, like number one, number two visited places were my career. It was called career services. And my, you know, like you said, my guidance counselor at the university. And honestly, like when it comes to your career services department at college, they can help you put together your resume, because I used that resume for like a good 4 years. You know, they really helped. So utilize them. I mean, it's in your tuition, so you might as well. Yeah, you paying for it. That's what you mean. You paying for it. But you know, the cool thing that you were just talking about, Brittany, was, and just to get a better understanding of marketing. So it was the hospital, right? Yep. Okay. So the hospital, their mindset is let's target young people. So of course they're going to get a young person to use in their campaign. So because they want to get more young people with that donor logo on their driver's license. So that's why, that's like a part of marketing, realizing who your client wants to target. Yeah, who they want to target, and then finding those individuals who looks like that target audience, you know, as well. But you can go ahead with your next question, Catherine.
So I'd like to know a bit more, because you talked a little bit about your job, like how you had to speak with the creative team and speak with like all these other teams, but how did that come into more of what you have to do? Because right now you're doing real estate, correct? Yes. So how do you come up with like creative things now? Now that you don't have like a creative team on hand, how do you come up with your own ideas now? Yeah, that's a really great question, and I would love to answer it. Before I get into that point, I'm going to go back 1 second about day in the life.
because you're not always sitting at a desk when you're in marketing. So some of the things that marketing required me to do would be to go to sporting events like the Tampa Bay Lightning events and set up tables. If you're familiar with what is it called? The Amalie Arena, there's an area, courtyard, where you can set up a table. And so for the hospital, we would have material and stop people and give giveaways so they could be familiar with the healthcare system name. So to answer your question though, Katie, about how do I use marketing now that I don't have a creative agency? So in the very beginning, it was extremely difficult, right? Because you're trying to drum up business by tapping on your sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is the fancy word of saying like your friends, your network, your immediate circle. So trying to connect with them, strike up conversations to build that business. So to go home now and think of creative ways was very challenging for me. So what I ended up doing after some research was finding a creative agency that specialized specifically in real estate. And so I have a monthly subscription with them to create content for me. I don't utilize it as much as I should, but that content, they come up with a content calendar for me every month. And, they create posts for my Facebook, Instagram, my Instagram story, my Facebook story, and even give me like ideas, because I know social media is constantly changing. So as a marketing person, it's best to stay on top of those changes. So reels are a good way to stay on top of people's algorithm, on top of their, social media timeline. So this creative agency would give us content for the reel. So you're not just sitting there trying to think what to do today or what to post next week. It's there, you just copy and paste it and tweak it to however you'd like. So I hope that answers your question.
So were you ever nervous, Brittany, in going into a different career field though?
You know what, Martinique, I have to be honest. Yes, I was nervous, but I honestly tapped so many resources. Like my dad is a realtor. My mom has real estate experience from New York, in Florida. She's licensed in Florida. And my, neighbors too, who is a successful broker. She has her own brokerage. So just connecting with people who already in the business can provide that ease, that comfort when you're making such a big step, a big, transition. And, it's not for everyone. You definitely may want to secure funds in the bank before you say, oh, I'm just going to do something on my own, because it's definitely an investment that you have to do, to get a business up and running.
Yeah, definitely.
But over time, it gets better.
Yeah. So now finish this sentence, Brittany. If your child enjoys blank, they may enjoy working in the marketing field. Yeah,
I wrote it down. So I'm going to take a little sheet on my sheet. Okay. I wrote it down so I don't forget. So if your child enjoys strategizing, paying close attention to detail, learning about new trends and technology, collaborating with others to be creative or just to get real-time feedback, and being in the spotlight, because you do have to talk with people, they should consider working in the marketing field.
That's good. That's good. So now some parents may not even know where to start. Like, how sometimes you can see characteristics in somebody and you like, man, they would be such a good X, Y, and Z. What do you think that parent or maybe even that teacher should begin doing to really just open up their child's or student's eyes about being in that marketing field?
I think if I kind of look back at my trends, from being in high school, I was always trying to create some sort of service or product and develop ways that it could be released to the public. So I think if you see your child like trying to do something similar like that, if they enjoy talking, you know I just love to talk. And it actually in elementary school, they would put on my report card, I was a social butterfly. And it worked. It was okay because it worked. And, I think when you see characteristics and traits like, taking initiative to become a leader, that is a good sign. You may want to share with them about the marketing field.
Definitely. Now, if you are an aunt or uncle, or maybe even a grandparent, or you're a parent yourself, and your child is not tuning in, or your family member, make sure you have that child or student just catch this replay, just so they can get to know what a marketing director does as well. So, Elizabeth, you can go ahead with your next question.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you. What do you love? What do you love about marketing? That's what my question was. My second question is.
That's a really good question. Thank you, Elizabeth. What I love about marketing, it's almost like you're a cheerleader without the pom-poms, or you can find the pom-poms and use them too, like in the office. But I just feel like when you work in marketing, you have to be a believer about the brand that you're working on behalf of. And, just have a sense of pride as if it's your own business. So if you don't work for yourself and you work for XYZ company, just, be passionate about it, because it will show and people will know if you're being genuine and intentional through your delivery and execution with projects and just talking in front of people about the company you represent.
Yeah, that's good. So shout out to Jerry Houston. He said, "Go Lizzie," as well as I want to say that, let me see. So Nika also said, "Great job, Brittany." And
Thank you.
she was just cheering you on for that, just for that career change, because we just know that sometimes it is difficult to make that decision, but I just want to some of our viewers may not know, but none of our hosts or our guests can actually see the comments, so I like to relay you guys' comments to our featured professionals as well. So you can go ahead with your next question, Catherine.
So you talked a lot about traveling and marketing. How often would you say you get to travel as a realtor who also has to do her own marketing?
Okay, do you mind repeating it? It was a little difficult hearing.
So in the marketing field, I know you also have to do quite a bit of traveling as well. So I want to know, how often do you get to do this, and what is it like to travel?
Okay, so what I got is, what is it like to travel in marketing? And
yeah, how often did you get to travel when you were a marketing director, and what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so for marketing, I would travel time to time for conferences, like professional development conferences, to learn more about the field. And it's always a good thing, whatever you do, to join professional development conferences, because you never want to be complacent in your field of interest. So that was one thing. And then for one of the companies I worked for several years ago, I would have to travel to different counties throughout the state of Florida to meet with our county managers, to do video shoots, showcasing the service that we were doing. And I'm not sure if I can say the company name, so I'm just going to leave it out. But so I would do videos and take pictures and upload it on social media. So it would have me traveling throughout Central Florida. But I think for the most part, it was very fun because you get to meet new people and have new experiences. And I love to kind of stay local. I've lived in this area for 15 years. I'm based in Tampa. So I love pretty much staying local. But if I have a position in the future that allows me to travel, like let's say to the West Coast, I'll definitely embrace it. But I'm pretty much a small town girl right now.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit, Brittany, about maintaining those professional relationships with people.
Yeah, it's very important to be genuine and impactful when you have relationships. So, when you meet with someone, you definitely want to have a meaningful conversation with them. And, my approach is to be genuine. Like, you don't want to just go into the conversation or relationship and think what's in it for you, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, letting them know what you do, finding out what that person does, getting their contact information, following up with them, letting them know it was a pleasure talking to them.
Yeah. And
if you can be of any service, vice versa in the future, because you never know how these relationships can become full circle. Mm-hmm. There's so many times where I've met someone and later down the road, they may, give me an opportunity to work for them in the future. You just never know. So just, be genuine with your approach and always follow up with them. I would say like an email or informally just text them, and let them know it was nice meeting them.
Definitely. So now I know that, some of our viewers that tune in are maybe, in middle school, elementary, and high school, things like that. It's so crazy how these relationships that you form in these different grades, like really just follow you like into your adult life, especially with social media now. We're able to just stay connected with many people. And it is so crazy how I reconnected with people from high school and things like that. And I really like that Brittany said, stay genuine with people, because that's really what counts, really just being yourself around people. And that's what people are going to remember you as, because you never know who's going to cross your path, in your professional life as well. So you want to just really maintain those healthy relationships if you can. Now, I'm telling you, in high school, you also got those toxic people. So, you might not, you want to stay away from them, but, be yourself and don't, feel peer pressure to be who you aren't and things like that. But go ahead with your next question, Elizabeth. You got to take yourself off mute though, Elizabeth.
My next question is, why do you want to help women lead in marketing? And why do you want to help women lead businesses in marketing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I was the marketing director for the boutique agency, that was like a mission and goal for me, because I feel like, women can be underserved, and, I just think that it's good to support other women and lift them up. I mean, men need the support too, but that was just a goal for me to like represent the underserved, especially minority and, small businesses. So I did that for a while. But now with real estate, it's pretty much you have to serve everyone, because if not, it would be considered discrimination. So, I serve everyone when it comes to the real estate. But
and so, talked about, minorities. What does the marketing field look like for Black women and minorities?
I would definitely say diversity and inclusion could get better. And, I know a lot of companies are working towards that. They're including it in their, mission and goal statements.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the strides towards it. So as many people that can, find an interest in marketing, the better. In any other field. I mean, I know Elizabeth mentioned marine biology. I can't say that I've seen a lot of minority marine biologists. So it would be great to see that. I know there's specialized groups for women in tech. I have friends who are Black women in tech, and they have conferences on Black women in tech. So I think a lot of people through education are making strides to do better now.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because, when you read the news and like look on Facebook and hear about these different companies being insensitive about some of the campaigns that they run, to different races, then that makes you sometimes question, did they have enough minorities in that decision room? Like, why and how could you put out something so offensive to this population? And so like Brittany was mentioning before, if your child enjoys those things that she mentioned, make sure you encourage them to explore that field of marketing, because so many more companies need to be represented in these areas where they make decisions. And that also plays in how society views other races as well, because marketing plays such a huge role. It's so crazy how such a huge role marketing plays, in different companies and how we think about different things. So they really narrate a lot of the things that we believe.
For sure. Definitely. And that's something I appreciate with my last employer. I worked for one of the big 4 accounting firms, and I love that they always had a seat at the table for me, especially with our marketing projects. So that allows for a lot of, like you said, input, perspectives, and will make people sometimes second guess the decision that was made just based off of our feedback.
Yeah.
So good.
And since you said that, Brittany, I'm thinking about start teaching your kids now about having boldness to speak up, even if you are the only person that is the black person or brown person in that room. Because although you may have that seat at that table, if something is said in that room that could be taken as offensive, that person has to have that boldness to speak up and say, hey, no, this should not be promoted this way because of X, Y, and Z. And so not only do you want your child or student to be in that room, but you also want to begin implementing with them that self-esteem and boldness, that they have a voice to be able to speak up when they are in these different rooms as well. But Catherine, you can go ahead with your next question.
So I want to know, how do you prepare yourself in everyday life for your job? Like, how do you make yourself successful every single day?
So I attribute a lot of my success to my relationship with God. I have a very strong faith in him that if I can do anything, it's because God gives me the strength to wake up every single day and do it, because I have been on death's door before, and when that happened, I was not able to do any of these things. So I start there. And then secondly, I also surround myself with like-minded people. I think that is very, very important, because if you surround yourself with toxic energy and toxic people who they don't believe in you, they don't even believe in themselves, it'll suppress the goals and achievements that are out there for you. So I had to kind of understand that a little later on in life. So my faith and surrounding myself with like-minded people. And thirdly, I would say get some mentors. I don't care like what age you are. Maybe there's a certain age you might not need a mentor. I don't know. But for me now, I'm in my later 20s. I still have a couple mentors in my corner that I lean on for real-time feedback, and for guidance, because my parents didn't necessarily know how to get into marketing and what that looked like. So just by me like meeting people throughout this journey and observing them, right? Because you don't want to just ask anyone to be your mentor. You want to know that they've accomplished some things themselves and they have the time and capacity to put you as their mentee. So with that being said, you want to start looking for a mentor. And I think for a lot of the children who are watching this, and even adults, if you don't have a mentor, please consider finding that resource, because it's very helpful.
Definitely. And I think one of the things that like Catherine and Lizzie could be doing now is, I mean, of course, ask your parent, but ask them if you could maybe research or find an organization either locally or, just nationwide that's specific to your field. So like Lizzie, you're interested in marine biology. If you have an organization that studies aquatics and things like that, because they're the ones, those specific organizations know specifically those people who are directly in those fields that you're interested in, and you'll be able to ask them questions. And just like you, Catherine, like just reaching out to those organizations that's all about STEM, because of course they know computer engineers and things like that. But Brittany, can you tell us one thing that you would tell your younger self?
Yeah, I would tell my younger self to, like you said, be bold, to be willing to glean from others and not be shy when it comes to like asking questions. And also learn that if you have nothing to contribute to a conversation, just hold it back. Because I think sometimes people tend to, go into meetings and they don't necessarily have anything valuable or meaningful to contribute, but they're still sharing. So just take a second to kind of process your thoughts and make sure it really aligns with the conversation that is happening. But be confident, because if you're not confident in yourself, people will pick up on it. And always be your number one advocate, because if you're going on interviews or if you're, just looking to develop in an organization, you want to make sure you're confident, because they pick up on those things.
Brittany, can you explain to us, though, the difference between being confident, cocky, and it was another word I was thinking about, confident, cocky, and humble? What's the difference? And how would a young person, how does that look? How do you think that should look in a young person's life?
Yeah, it took me a second. Like I had to process that for a moment. But, here, this is how I'll answer it. And I'm sure maybe there's other answers to this, but this is my perception. So confidence to me is I'm willing to learn new things, but I'm also not going to keep it from other people. I'm willing to share what I've learned and be open to giving that information to others, because I want to see other people succeed, right? So just like today, like I can keep these keys to myself, but I'd like to see the generations to follow apply these things and, grow. I think the cockiness is where you gain all this information and you're just sitting on it. And I think too, cockiness is, I think that's just my answer, period. Like people not willing to share, people not wanting to put a value on relationships. And then I think the humble thing kind of works the humility works with the confidence. I mean, not all the time though, but I definitely had to humble myself at some point because I just was learning very fast. And, I just had to know that I had to give back in the knowledge shared and give back in my time with volunteering. So that humbled me. Yeah. My medical experiences has humbled me because I realized if I don't have my health, I really can't do anything at all. So yeah, I hope that answers it. But like I said, there's other answers to it, I'm sure, but that is just my perspective in this moment.
Yeah. So Elizabeth, what's your next question?
Before I tell you my next question, I wanted to add that I was in a marine biology camp this summer.
Wow, that's excellent.
Did that make you more interested in becoming a marine biologist, or like did it kind of sway you away?
It did make me more interested.
That's good.
Because we got to do all these kinds of experiments too.
Definitely. That's awesome. I'm really glad that your mom was able to get you into that. Okay. Go with your next question, Elizabeth.
My next question is, what is some advice you can give for marketing?
Some advice I would give to marketing is always looking for ways to improve things. So, ways you can do that again are the conferences, meeting other people, at Rotary clubs or networking clubs like the BNI, to learn what they're doing at their organization and ways that you can apply it to your business. And again, like speaking up in these meetings to your leadership team, because sometimes they're so tunnel visioned that they're not thinking of other ways to process improve. So connecting with your leadership to bring up new ideas, because it can be a value added to your company.
That's good. So what's your next question, Catherine?
So I want to know, how flexible is your current job right now? How flexible how flexible is it to be a marketing director, and how flexible is it to be doing real estate and on top of doing all your own marketing and everything?
So real estate is pretty flexible for me because I can really decide, thank God, how many clients I'd like to take on. And really, when I had the small boutique agency, I had to turn down a client project because it did not align with my values. It did not align with my work ethic. So, it's just like very good because I can work on my own terms and I don't have to, lower my values. So if I have doctor's appointments and things like that, thank God I can just, I love the little cheer thing. That's so cute. So yeah, I can just put it on my calendar. And, if I have certain projects that need to be done for a client, like if I'm showing homes or whatever, just try to talk with them about deadlines and my schedule and try to make it all work. So it's pretty flexible.
Definitely. So now, Brittany, why did you want to be a part of the Today I Want to Be products?
Yeah, because I think first of all, I did not have this as a resource in high school. My mom and I were talking that this would be so incredible, at the time. And I think that just allowing people to understand what's out there, because sometimes the guidance counselor may focus on just a few different areas. Like they may just focus on what we know, lawyer, doctor. Yeah. I'm trying to think of another thing they may recommend. But when you are a part of Today I Want to Be, what I noticed, you're getting perspectives from people who are authors, who are football coaches, like everything that you can imagine. So it really is opening students' minds up to different possibilities. And hopefully this will stick in their minds, they can refer back to it on your Facebook page, on YouTube, as a reminder, you know, especially Katie's age, such an integral age, to kind of understand what you're looking to do once you've graduated. So this gave me an opportunity to share my experiences, and hopefully, you know, even if it's one person, that one person learned today, and will be able to think about something new.
Definitely. And I was just so excited to have you on board, you know, because I think that especially just as an adult, you know, you don't think about a marketing as a career field because you just don't know the behind the scenes work. You just sometimes you automatically think of a business owner, but you don't think about the strategy behind how to get in front of those people that you're trying to target. And so that's why I'm really thankful that you were a part of the products as well. If you're interested in learning more about the different products that Today I Want to Be has, make sure you go to that description box, and right there next to that little cart, you can actually click on that purchasing link as well. So go ahead with your next question, Katie.
So I want to know, how can you help your community through marketing?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So when it comes to my personal business, I would say I write checks to like my church, you know, donations and things like that. But I want to kind of go back to when I worked in corporate, because that's more of a significant time period in my work experience. We did a lot of giving back through like community efforts. So volunteering through Junior Achievement. I don't know if you guys have heard of Junior Achievement, but it basically provides financial literacy education to children's, I believe, through their primary, primary school days. So that's one way that we would give back, as well as doing a backpack initiative to help provide food in backpacks to children to go home on the weekend, because, you know, these children, if it wasn't for the school lunches, they wouldn't have these meals. And then lastly, also doing the Great American Teach-In. So it's similar to this. The only difference, and this was the last time I participated and spearheaded it, was in 2015. I basically had our engineers, they're more phosphate engineers than the computer. They're phosphate engineers, computer engineers, human resource professionals. They would go out into the schools. So whether it was elementary, middle, and high school, and they would talk about what they did, just like this, but they would also share what they do at the company and what their background was. So very similar to this, but they actually go into the classroom. So yeah, that's what we did. And I think that there's ways I can definitely do better at giving back, you know, now in the real estate. So you kind of got me thinking about some things. Thank you for that.
Definitely. So I'm just so, like I said, I'm so thankful that Brittany, you were able to participate, one in the interview and as well in the products, just because growing up, I never knew what marketing was, and I never knew that I could become a marketing director, you know, or anything in the marketing field. So you are definitely opening up so many kids and youth's eyes about what they can become when they grow up as well. I definitely thank you, Elizabeth and Catherine, for being my awesome co-host with me and asking some great questions as well. And I also want to thank our viewers for tuning in to another episode of Today I Want to Be, our career exploration interview. So now on October 20th, we have Courtney McLean. He is our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, and he's going to be telling us all about what he does. Like I said, we were talking about representation, and he is one of the individuals who work for a company that makes sure that people are represented within these different companies as well. So October 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be interviewing him. Make sure you go ahead and sign your child up or student up to interview him as well. That link is listed in the description box as well. We definitely hope that you guys have a great remainder of the night, and we will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.